Hello and welcome back to English Buff. For those of you who see me for the first time, my name is Jana, and today our lesson is devoted to vocabulary, namely business vocabulary. The majority of my students need English for work. They want to communicate with foreign partners, or they need to get a promotion, or they just want to read some professional literature. For these, they are eager to study English, and namely business English. This lesson is devoted to business vocabulary, namely the most common nouns that you will require for your work. So if you need these words, keep watching. So we're going to start with the word that you most likely know. These are resume and CV. But do you know the difference between them? A CV, or curriculum vitae, which means course of life in Latin, is an in-depth document that contains 2 or 3 pages. It has a high level of detail about your achievements and your career biography. The document tends to be organized chronologically, so to make it easier to get the general overview of your career path. A CV is static, and all the changes you may include in the cover letter. A resume is usually no longer than 1 page. It doesn't require any details, it just needs the general overview of your career path. It doesn't have to be ordered chronologically, and it doesn't need to cover all your career. And it can be tailored in accordance to your application. So let's sum up. CV is longer and requires a lot of details on all your career path, whereas the resume is shorter, only 1 page, not more, and it doesn't require you to include all the details about your career. The next word is promotion. It has several meanings. The first one is an entire set of activities which communicate the product, brand or service to the users. The main idea is to make people aware of the product and attract them to buy it over others. Another meaning relates to employees. If you are given a promotion at work, it means that you are given a more important job or a rank in the organization. For example, you were a junior brand manager and you were promoted to brand manager, so this is your way up the career ladder. With the promotion, you can get some perks. These are some special benefits that you receive for a good job, like a company car, mobile phone, a laptop, or maybe private medical insurance. While working for any company, you will have a lot of business meetings. The word that you require for them is agenda. An agenda is a list of items that have to be discussed at the meeting. We usually use this word with the preposition on. The next issue on the agenda is the difference between cooperation and collaboration. These 2 words are often used interchangeably, especially in a workplace. However, there is a small but very crucial difference. Let's start with the word collaboration. Collaboration is when a group of people get together and work on a common project. For example, a photographer works together with a designer to create a cover page. So it means that these people should be from different departments. Let's imagine that you and I work in different departments. You are a lead developer and I am a senior product designer. We get together to discuss a product we are working on and to decide what we need to do to make it more efficient for our users. Together we design and implement a major change to the product, and ultimately we share the credit. So this is what is known as a collaboration. On the other hand, cooperation is when a group of people work to support another's goal. For example, it's your teammate who helps you to create a presentation, or a developer that helps you to understand their major definition or terminology that is connected to the project. The key point here that this is not a shared vision. Collaboration is when we are both interested in that and we will share the credit. And cooperation, this is when one of us helps another one. And if I'm working on that and you are just helping me, ultimately I will be responsible for that. It's not a shared credit. In the course of collaboration or cooperation, the need for the brainstorming occurs. So what is brainstorming? It's a set of activities that is created in order to find a solution for a problem. So this is when we are all thinking about how to solve the issue by giving as many ideas as possible and then choosing the one that suits us the best. Why is this necessary? Because this helps people to think more freely and generate as many spontaneous ideas as possible. All these ideas are noted down without any criticism, and only after brainstorming they are evaluated. I've used it while preparing for my exams, and I consider it to be the best technique for ideas generation. When a company doesn't have a specialist for a specific task, they hire a person or even a company from elsewhere for some time. This will help them to reduce the costs and give them an opportunity to solve a problem. It is known as outsourcing. When the company needs to create a web page, they hire a web designer. And as soon as the project is done, they end up their collaboration. An example of outsourcing, this is when a US company hires an independent call center in India to help them to handle their telephone customer service. Let's move on. Our next word is team building. What is team building? This is an activity that encourages workers to work well together by doing different techniques or activities or even games. It helps the company to create a healthy work environment and to boost their productivity and efficiency of their employees. So no matter where you work, you will definitely face team building activities. Any activity has a specific goal. A goal, this is something that a person or a group of people desire to achieve in the future. What is the goal of the team building activities? It is to unite people and make them work for the benefit of the company. People try to reach their goals by finite time by setting deadlines. The time limit or the deadline is a specific moment in time when the task must be accomplished. Once the time has passed, the item may be considered as overdue. After you submit your work and meet the deadline, you are expecting to receive some feedback. What is the feedback? These are some comments about how well or how badly you are working on something. Why do we need them? Because they are intended to help us to work better. What happens in case we don't meet deadlines? We can get penalty. Penalty is some kind of punishment, usually connected with money, that you receive when you don't follow the rules or break the agreement. This money will be withheld from your salary at the end of the month. The next word we are looking at is downsizing. Although the definition in the dictionary of the word downsizing means to reduce in size, in business terminology it has completely different meaning. It means the termination of an employee from the company due to the fact that their position is not required. Sometimes it can be connected with the organization restructuring when they need to downsize the positions that they no longer need. This can also be connected with their closing of plants, factories or any facilities where downsized people once worked. And the last word is confirmation. A confirmation provides proof that something is true or is going to happen. An example of confirmation may be the email that you receive with the statement that your meeting will be on time, or when you find out that something that you thought would have happened definitely happened. For example, mistake in the file or a promotion. Of course, these are not all the nouns that you can come across in a business sphere. These 15 are necessary to know. Write me in comments if you consider some other nouns to be must-have in your vocabulary, and I will eagerly read them. Thank you so much for watching this video. Press like if you want to see some additional videos on that topic. See you next time, and bye-bye!